Bye.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey everybody, how are you? This is Theresa Augustinelli on Coach's Corner. Hope you're doing well. I am so excited today that I have with me one of my personal coaches, an advisor to me, one of my mentors, and she is also a really good friend. And Jen has written some books. Jen has a whole list of accomplishments that I'm going to let her share with you. And I'm going to also ask Jen to talk about her latest book with us today. I've read it. I love it. I refer to it a lot. I mention it to several of my clients when I'm with someone in counseling or coaching. And I'm going to let Jen talk about it. So I'm so excited that you're all here. And hello, Jen.
Hi. So happy to be here with you today.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Good. I love your background.
Thank you. Little promotion.
So isn't that another company you've just launched?
Yes. So when I came back from the first part of my book tour in the beginning of March, thinking I was about to go on an entire book tour all year long, I had over 150 speaking engagements and appearances cut off because of COVID. And so a lot of them moved virtual. And I recognized that a lot of people weren't ready for the virtual world yet. And I got to see a lot of areas in people's houses that I probably shouldn't have seen. I saw some family members that I probably shouldn't have seen as well. And I realized that there needed to be a solution where people could have screens that brand their companies, that block everything behind them. And I wanted to make them affordable, portable, so you can take them anywhere. And for a lot of people, they don't like the virtual backgrounds because your head gets lost in them, and some people's computers can't upload them. So that's one of the lemonade that came out of the lemon.
Love it. It looks great too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So there's just so much. We could talk for hours. And I know you're busy, and I want to just maximize our time because I know your time is so valuable. Tell me about, well, first of all, I believe in the law of attraction. It has revolutionized my life, my company, my business. So I think that you have one of the most brilliant ways to express what law of attraction is, how it works. So give us your definition of law of attraction.
So to me, what it is number one, being in alignment, understanding quantum physics, which somebody could simply Google the observer theory and see a little cartoon that gets you pretty clear quickly on the power of our bodies and our minds, that we're all energy in motion. And so what we're energetically putting out becomes tangible and can change reality based on what our thoughts are. So it's an understanding of that our thoughts and our energy are creating our reality, so that we become a lot more intentional, aware of what we're thinking and the quality of our thoughts and the quality of our beliefs. And that belief part is the faith part, that you think it, you kind of put it out there. You obviously have to show up and do action steps to move forward. But the power that we have within us to attract the reality we desire. So the key principle of that, and I teach my daughters, is whatever you do, just don't think about what you don't want, and always think about what you do want.
Yeah. And Jen, when I met you at an event, you were phenomenal. You shared a little bit about your more method. And we met, and I've met with you on a personal level and professional level. And you really are one of the people that really changed my life forever. So I just have a special place in my heart for you.
Likewise.
Tell us about your journey and how you came to be associated with the law of attraction.
So back in my 20s, I owned a gym in Wilmington, Delaware. I was partners with two gentlemen and had an aerobic studio called the Groove Shop. And I was a national level fitness competitor, traveled all over the world, really leading the fitness wellness movement, which back then was in its infancy. And I was constantly thirsty for knowledge and wisdom and understanding more than just traditional thought processes and traditional education. And being a fitness competitor, I was fortunately at all these events all over the world with some of the most incredible thought leaders around mindset training, around quantum physics, around neuroscience. And I would just hire them and sit at their feet and be like, teach me everything. So this one time I was at an event that I wasn't even supposed to be at. And I was sitting in the stadium listening to all the speakers. And this one speaker comes on stage and just captivated me. His energy, what he was saying. And it was so funny. I knew everything that he was saying, but I didn't know how I knew it. It just resonated as truth to me. And it fired me up, fired my soul up so much that I found him afterwards. I was like, I have to meet this man. So mind you, I'm in a stadium filled with people. I break my way to the back area where he's standing, greeting people, taking pictures. And I went up to him and I said, I don't know how I know everything that you just said, but I know it and I need to know more of it. And I need to learn from you. And so he gave me a business card and said, if you're serious, you will reach out to my assistant on Monday and she'll tell you what to do next. So I did that on Monday, and she had said to me, if you're really serious, Bob said to go to this event this weekend in California. So I was a young business person, paying people before I was even paying myself half the time. And really just coming from this event in Canada, logically, I shouldn't have gone to that event, but I did. I followed my heart. I went to the event. And here I found myself in this mastermind group with 39 other people that lasted 3 years. It was called the 3% Club, led by Bob Proctor, who anyone who's watched the movie The Secret has seen. And the 3% Club was basically this mastermind teaching that the top 3% of the world think this way. And so I was 25 at this time learning this information. I was by far the youngest person in that mastermind. And it was incredible. Bob would bring in other thought leaders like Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen and would introduce us to all of them. We would get to know him. It was very intimate. And Bob would always say, it's not just what you know, it's obviously who you know. So quickly, these people became part of our inner circle as well.
What an incredible story. Oh my goodness. 25 years old and having that kind of knowledge poured into your brain. What a great way to start a career. Wow.
What was crazy is that what we were learning was so ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Now having these conversations is totally normal. So imagine having these conversations back in like 2000. People were like, what is this girl talking about? So now I'm glad that everyone's catching up to it. But, to have had that knowledge, for over 20 years now has been a gift.
And what we've gone through with COVID-19 and people's lives have been turned upside down across the globe. Boy, now more than ever, do we need personal and professional growth and a revolutionary way of thinking and creating the life that we were all destined to live. I do believe that we can have and be and do all that we were created for because we have within us the inner strength, the inner source, the inner guidance. I do believe that. It has definitely changed my life for the better. So with that said, I want to touch on the fact that you were traveling all over the world. I mean, I was keeping up with you and I remember I think you texted me from the Philippines one time. You've been all over the country. So tell us, how has the COVID pandemic, has it affected your travel schedule?
Well, I mean, it came to a screeching halt. So it affected me a lot. And it affected my ability to do the book tour. You know, a lot of things move virtual, and while virtual gives us a lot of benefits, there's nothing like standing on a stage in a room filled with people and all the energy of the people in that room being inspired and connected together. So I definitely miss that. I hope that that comes back soon, because to me that was amazing. So I believe that there's an opportunity in every obstacle. And so when that happened, when I came back in March and I realized, wow, my entire year's business plan is completely uprooted, I had to really make adjustments. And I kept saying to myself, there's opportunity in every obstacle. Find the opportunity, find the opportunity. And I believe that that's so much of the mindset that we all have to have, because if I focused on what was wrong, I would have gone into this state of fear and panic and depression. But focusing on what was right and then looking for the gold in that allowed me to create this company, allowed me to do a lot of other things that I didn't plan for for 2020, which are leading me to newer opportunities for 2021.
Fantastic. And I know for me, I just started traveling. Like last January. And so I was so excited for my new venture. And then smash. And I had to quickly learn Zoom, which I have learned from you.
Yes, you had to adapt quickly.
Some of your mastermind classes, communicating. So again, you changed my life in that respect too. And I do hope also to start traveling. So let's talk about your book. By the way, the MORE method, which I had the pleasure and the privilege of being certified under Jen Groover in the curriculum for the MORE method. So now I'm also certified to teach and incorporate the MORE method. And so Jen, I know you've written a couple of books. Tell us about the MORE method, your most recent book, and how it was born.
So the MORE method wasn't actually supposed to be the MORE method at first. There was another book that was happening before the MORE method called The Operator's Manual for Life. And it was really deep in emotional intelligence. And as I was writing it, I kept feeling like there's something missing, and I don't know what it is. And at the same time period, a lot of these emotional intelligence experts started to pop up. And I kept thinking, wow, for so long, this space was kind of empty. And now all of a sudden, everyone's an emotional intelligence expert. So what makes me different? What makes me stand out? What makes my uniqueness valuable to somebody else? And it led me to what's an inquiry process that you can do right before bed that helps you get clarity when you need it. So before I went to bed one night, I asked myself, what is it that makes me unique? What do I do that other people don't do? What is my value proposition to the world? And I woke up in the middle of the night, clear as day. You teach people how to get more of what they desire in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's business and success and finances. You teach people how to get more. So with that, I quickly downloaded this acronym. M stands for mindfulness and all that you do. O stands for optimization of body and brain. The R means more responsive versus reactive life. And the E is excelling in all aspects of life. And I called my publisher that morning and I said, we need to scratch that book for a little bit and put another one in front of it called the MORE method. And I broke down the acronym for her and she was like, I love it. And you're right. This is what you do. And this is your unique value proposition, because when I teach my degrees in psychology and education, my continued education was in physiology and nutrition. And then I dove deep in continuing education in quantum physics and neuroscience and metaphysics and Buddhism. And so when I'm teaching people how to get what it is that they desire in life, I am bringing best of practices from all these different disciplines together so that, it's not just one linear way of thinking, but bringing the psychology and just the nutrition together alone creates a greater impact. So this book is bringing all those philosophies together and creating a simplified framework that anyone at any stage of life can get from where they are to where they want to go. It's a constant framework that people can use as they keep evolving and keep going from level to level in life.
So how can people find your book and purchase it?
Oh, it's on Amazon, so people can find it there, or they can go to my publisher's site called changeherstory.org. And what's interesting about my publisher is she's the first ever nonprofit publisher. And the mission behind it is every single author is a female who has overcome tremendous challenges in life. And their life has then led them, those challenges and overcoming the obstacles, has led them to be a source of inspiration for other women through their own journeys and struggles.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So let's touch on a little bit about the psychology part, because as you know, I provide the same kinds of therapy as a psychotherapist. Providing psychological care is very different than providing coaching care, although intertwined. Lots of people ask me this question: what's the difference between therapy and coaching? Can you touch a little bit on that?
Sure. So the way I view it is therapy is more of an observation and an extraction of information, where you're finding out from someone you're working with things that had happened in their lives and asking them questions about, how did that make you feel and what their perspective is on it. Where I feel that falls short is traditionally therapists don't give advice. They ask questions. I mean, I shouldn't say that they give advice in how they could see something differently or how they could create boundaries around things. But coaching is, okay, we see what you have. We see what you put on the table. Now, how do we move forward from it, right? So I see therapy as more of a reconciliation of where you are, but coaching is a reconciliation. Now let's move forward and move past this and be your best version self. So coaching, I see as somebody running beside somebody, cheering them on and giving them tools along the way, like, oh, you should eat this goo. This will get you further. Or you should change your sneakers for this terrain. So just gives a little bit more of a direction and guidance and accountability.
I love that. Direction, guidance.
I think therapy is more of passive, and then coaching is more active.
Yeah, I agree. So tell us why you wanted to travel the world and share your knowledge.
Well, I think when you recognize your purpose, which I did very early on, and you recognize that you have knowledge and insight that will help people help themselves, it's hard to contain it for yourself. So my path has always been this, because I just love sharing knowledge. I love helping people get out of their way so that they can live their best lives possible. And anyway, the funniest thing is, when I was a kid, my mom ran campaigns for politicians, and she had a TV show, and she put me on TV when I was little. And kids at school saw, so they, of course, kids will like tease and make fun just because that's what kids do. And so I really shied out of being in any place or space where I had to be front and center. My mom also forced me to do these forensics classes when I was in school, which I hated so much, like the public speaking. So when I got into the fitness industry, I was so passionate about fitness that all of a sudden I'm on stage without even realizing, like, oh God, I'm on stage. And I just loved it. I loved pouring into the audience. I loved seeing people be inspired and invigorated. And so once that happened, I just became addicted to it. I became addicted to seeing people change and evolve and grow, and really knowing that I'm making an impact in what I'm doing.
So from being shy and didn't like the camera, look at you now.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I had this epiphany when I was about 28. People were asking me to go on to QVC with different products, and I was like, oh God, no, I am not putting myself in that position. And one day it kind of just hit me, like, if I don't do that, then I will literally regret it, and I won't be able to become who I was meant to be. And so I forced myself to go on to QVC. I then became regular on there, but the first time I literally felt so sick. I couldn't eat for weeks leading up to it. I kept thinking of like everything that I thought about when I was a kid, like, oh, what's my hair gonna look like? What clothes am I gonna wear? And so it became an incredible experience when I went on. The adrenaline was just off the charts. And I realized I was stifling my own potential by minimizing myself to my fears. Because after facing that fear, I was able to grow exponentially and accomplish so much more in life. Doing that, going on QVC and at first representing other brands and then representing my own brand was really incredibly powerful for me to accelerate in my own growth.
And so that leads me to and I could talk to you for hours. So I don't know if most people know this, but Jen is not only a global motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, an author, a trainer, corporate trainer. You are an inventor.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you.
Inventor on my show today. So let's talk a bit about your inventions.
Yeah, so the first invention that I got recognition for, I mean, let me first say that prior to that, I had an idea journal like this big, filled with ideas all the time. And I always knew I wanted to take a chance, but creating a business that's a service-based business is very different than creating a product-based business. So it's a little bit more intimidating. There's a lot more risk. And when I have 16-year-old twins, but when they were infants, I took them to a grocery store one night just to pick up something for dinner. I had them in their car seats, standing in line, and I put them down to pay for the food, and I'm digging through my purse, and I cannot find my credit card. And my kids are screaming, crying at the same time. I'm holding up a line full of people, dump my bag out in front of the cashier, and I literally was like, seriously, as far as innovation has come in our society, we as women accept a bucket for a bag. That's it. It's a bucket. And when I was leaving the grocery store that night, I kept thinking there has to be a better way. And my mom had a mantra, you're not allowed to complain about something unless you back it up with a solution. So I was really convicted in the fact that I wanted to create a solution, but I had no idea what it was going to be, how it was going to be created. I can't really draw well, not an engineer, I'm not a designer. So I shelved the idea, got home, dove back into my crazy new mom life. And 9 months later, I was unloading my dishwasher, which is something I do all the time. But I recognized that utensils are standing up straight, exactly the way I would want everything in my handbag to be. And as I look into the utensil tray, you can see where everything is. So I took the utensil tray out of the dishwasher, stuck it into my handbag, and voila, created the first ever compartmentalized handbag called the Butler bag, which I later sold to Avon. But it was a crazy roller coaster of an invention. The first year we launched, my goal was to create $1 million in the first year, and we hit that. And then the second year to have 10 million in sales. And that was back in 2006 when I started. So for a woman-owned business, those were incredible milestones that were very unusual. So that's really what created a bigger platform for me to speak and share information and continue creating ideas. Because after that, when I'd be like, I have an idea, people would be like, oh, okay, what is it? Versus, oh, okay, here's another idea. So so the Butler bag really was an incredible journey for me. Since then, I started creating a lot of other products as well, but that was my first big journey of being a product-based business and putting into practice all the law of attraction stuff that I talked about in the very beginning, and knowing it worked. Because when people are like, how did you just do that? I'd be like, well, I thought it, I believed it. I intentionally worked for it every day. I removed the beliefs that were blocking me from achieving it. So I put those into practice and realized, wow, this stuff really does work.
So what would you say to someone that says, you know, Jen, I believe in the law of attraction. I'm visualizing $10 million. I'm visualizing it. I believe it. But how do I get it into my bank account? What would you tell someone?
Well, first of all, if they're struggling to see results, they probably don't believe it. They might want to believe it. They don't actually believe that it's going to happen. So I would start to really dive into the beliefs around money, around success. For me, for example, my dad had a very scarcity mindset. He grew up in Chester, very poor. And even though he became an attorney and was successful, he always felt poor. And the way he taught us was scarcity minded too. Like, you're lucky we have a roof over our head. You're lucky we have food on the table. And there was always this fear around money. And so in order for me to become more successful, I had to identify all of those programmed beliefs around money and the scarcity of it, or the manipulation of it, or the fear around it, and clear those beliefs and create new beliefs. Like, money's everywhere. Money's easy to come by. Just you need more money, you create more money. And so, so much of the law of attraction really working is an authentic belief, like really, truly, in the neuroscience standpoint, reprogramming your brain, creating new neural pathways in your brain to believe, and then energetically, emotionally. So the emotional intelligence component is to emotionally connect with it. So it's one thing to think something, but it's another thing to feel something. So when in the practice you envision what you want, you don't just think about it, you feel it. You feel what it feels like. Like, Michael Phelps didn't just wake up one day and become this multi-gold medal winner in the Olympics. His whole life practiced the law of attraction. Obviously, he took action as well, but he envisioned it. He envisioned what each lap looked like, each turn looked like, what it felt like standing on the stage and people screaming and cheering for him. He felt everything years before it was. And most athletes will tell you this, by the way. Athletes are really big on using this skill, where it's, for them, they might call it visualization, but it's the same thing. So there's a neurological neuroscience component to this. There's an energetic emotion, that's the quantum physics, putting the energy in motion. And then there's the other key, and this is the challenge for many that are aware and they're practicing, is staying in alignment, keeping your energy clean, keeping your energy aligned, not allowing your energy to be thrown off by other people or other life circumstances. Because when you're in a low frequency energy, you will attract low frequency people. When you're in high frequency, you'll attract high frequency opportunities and people.
Boy, is that the truth. And I do a lot of coaching and counseling on just that. Sometimes you're just going to end up losing people in your life just because of the energy level, the vibrations. I totally believe that. So, Jen, what would you tell someone, as we wrap up, what would you tell someone who is dreaming about something that they want to do or invent, and they're struggling believing it, that they can do it?
Well, first of all, continue to do personal development every day. Read as much as you can about programming your mindset. Watch as many videos as possible. Get a mentor. And then also surround yourself by people who are doing it. That was one of the biggest things for me at QVC. I became friends with all the different inventors of the different products, and I realized they were just like me. They weren't anything like that different. They weren't necessarily great students in school. They didn't necessarily have great backgrounds. And the more I surrounded myself with them and the conversations they would have and the thought processes that they would have, the more I became like them, and thinking, well, why not me? They're going to do it. I might as well do it. If somebody's going to do it, it might as well be me. So it's really about constantly fueling and reprogramming your brain, extracting the beliefs that you have that no longer serve you, and then surrounding yourself with people that affirm that.
Like attracts like, right?
Correct. Exactly.
So I think, and see, the time goes so fast.
Right.
So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you all for joining us. Jen, I want to thank you. You
Thank
are
you.
amazing, amazing, phenomenal, and I just love talking with you. So what I'd like to say to everyone is every Friday we meet at noon for Coach's Corner. I have guests with me each week to help you on your journey for personal and professional development, some educational topics, motivational topics, inspirational topics on how you are adding value to those around you in your business or organization. And starting on Monday, I'm going to be doing 10 days, a minute with Theresa on the 10 reasons why you may be in the wrong relationship. So starting Monday on Coach's Corner, we'll go through a minute and join me live. Hope to see you all very soon next Friday for Coach's Corner. Jen, thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck on your book.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
the More Method, how to get more out of life and more.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.